word, first of all, bonjour, sur la journée internationale sur les journalistes. C'est quelque chose qui nous incombe beaucoup. Je vais parler en anglais, sinon personne ne comprend rien. So, let me say that as we are celebrating today the International Day to End Impunity for crimes against journalists, I want to recall France's strong commitment to this fight for the protection of journalists, but also for the accountability. This commitment, as you know, is truly part of our DNA. It is deeply ingrained in our DNA. So for us today, it's an important day. You may remember that France presented the first resolution to the Security Council in 2006 on this matter. In addition to the resolution on the safety of journalists, currently discussed within the third committee, and I want you to be aware of that, we are very active within the group of France on the protection of journalists here at the UN. President Macron, as you may remember, called during the General Assembly of the UN for the creation of a mandate of a special representative of the Secretary General on this. And now we are working together with the SG and his team, and with all partners, of course, to get a better UN response to this high priority for us and to end impunity. So, long story short, this is one of our key priorities, and we are working very hard as we speak to reinforce UN's commitment to the fight.
Your reaction to Aung San Suu Kyi's visit to Rakhine State?
You will see in a minute. We'll listen to Filippo Grandi. I believe it's very important, to answer your question, that Grandi comes to the Security Council. Why? Because the host of refugees is a moral obligation, also a legal obligation vis-à-vis our international commitments, but also because this unprecedented wave of refugees that is happening before our eyes is the first cause of insecurity today, of massive violations of human rights. And we strongly believe that the Security Council has a particular responsibility in addressing these causes of conflict and trying to promote on every situation a political solution. This is exactly the case on Myanmar. That will be the first illustration that I will underscore during my speech to the Security Council in a few minutes. Here you remember the Area Formula meeting that we had around Kofi Annan. On this basis, we are working on a text in order to put maximum pressure vis-à-vis our three key priorities: to end, to stop violence, to help humanitarian aid get through, and to prepare for the return of refugees. That's the three key. These are the three key priorities, and then you have the longer-term root causes based on the Kofi Annan's report that we are also working on. So in this respect, everything that can help promote these three short-term priorities and the longer-term Kofi Annan-based priority are welcome. That's what I can tell. And at the same time, to answer your question, this is really the responsibility of the Security Council. That's why we push hard, together with our British colleagues, to put maximum pressure on the key players in order to bring them where we want to go. And there is no minute to waste, frankly.
So did France suggest to Aung San Suu Kyi she should go to Rakhine State then? Did you press her to go to her?
Again, that's not my message. What I say is that every effort to address this concern and key priority is important and welcome.
Ambassador, can I ask you about the meeting that the Russians are organizing in Sochi, the Syrian People's Congress? What's France's position on that? The agency have already said that they're not going.
Our position is very clear on this. we consider that the UN must be front and center. Based on this, there is one criteria according to which we will judge the various initiatives. Does it help the Geneva process or not? If it does, then any initiative that reinforces the Geneva process is welcome. Any initiative that would be outside of the Geneva process is not and is doomed to fail. So that is the only criteria that is for us the compass that we have in this crisis.
So on that criteria, does Sochi fit something that helps or not?
Again, we'll look at any proposal as they are, but we have one criteria. And why do we have this criteria, by the way? Because this is the consensus of the international community to support the Geneva process and to support Stéphane de Mistura's efforts. So if we derive from that, we are lost. So we want to continue, we want to push, we want to have everyone on board, of course, including the Russians. And based on this, we'll continue our efforts. This is based on this very strong conviction that France has proposed, as you know, this, to summarize and oversimplify a bit, this contact group initiative to, number one, make sure that the key players do unite on a position, and we see how necessary it is. And number two, based on this unified position, the key players has to be the driver of the peace process and to push for the Geneva process to succeed. So the UN front and center, and one very simple criteria.
Thank you. Beatrice Lefrappeur du RN, documents show that she leaked Security Council documents to Ocampo. Is the KDRC aware of this? What are the rules that apply to this?